Taylor Swift, Bad Blood.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
I'm pleased to welcome into studio the Mumbai Storytellers Society, MSS, and they're the people behind MIST, the Mumbai International Storytelling Festival. First and foremost, the founder, Usha. Hi, Usha. Wonderful to see you, Usha Venkatraman.
Hello, good morning, Mumbai. Great to see you, Hrishikesh.
Lovely, I love that energy. And Lopamudra Mohanty joins us. Hi, Lopa, how are you?
Hi, Hrishi, and hi, everyone in Mumbai as well.
Hi, Shreedevi, what's up?
I'm good. What's up, Hrishi?
All is well. When I'm on the air, everything's well. For me, I don't know about the rest. So, Usha, take us to the top. When did you first found the society? What was the intention? Have you succeeded thus far? All those things.
Yes, let me answer your last question. I think I've succeeded with organizing MIST. Now, let's scroll back to a year. Sometime in January, I called a few like-minded storytellers and I wanted to form Mumbai Storytellers Society to spread the oral tradition in the community. So it came to fruition in the month of March, and we launched our first storytelling event on World Storytelling Day at the Trilogy Library, March 28th, where we told stories from myths, epics. You know, and it's come a full circle that our festival today is also mythology for the millennials.
Very beautifully put. And you do, Shreedevi, have all forms of mythology. We're talking Greek mythology. You have a Greek...
Chinese mythology.
And Chinese mythology too. You have somebody from Singapore coming in. So that aspect, her dream or her focus for the society is bearing fruit.
Absolutely. I think when Usha got in touch with all of us, for me, it was taking back stories to the community, the adult community more importantly, because stories, folk tales, traditional tales, which is what we tell, were actually told to adults and then adapted for children. So this whole myth about it being only for children was something that we wanted to break. And we've done it fairly successfully because all our monthly events, we don't only have storytellers coming in now, we have the common folks coming and listening to us.
Yeah. And Lopa, all of you have different varied talents that you bring to the table. You, for example, I believe are an Odissi dancer. Yeah. Do you use that in weaving magic for a lot of the stories that you tell?
Yeah, I do use a little bit of Odissi mudras, which you call, so in the stories itself, in the sense that so basically when we talk about, there can be oral storytelling, there can be performance storytelling. So when we're talking about a performance storytelling, we can use certain dance forms into the story, and that itself gives, the story itself goes into a different...
you're creating a setting for the story. You're creating a setting, you're using
engaging and enhancing your performance.
Absolutely.
Which is what you do with your classical vocals, I'm given to understand. And you've also, allow me to interrupt, you've also used science, as an important facet of storytelling.
Yes, I do. I'm a classical vocalist, the Carnatic classical vocalist. So I sing and I perform. And I did curate Sci-Fi, exploring science with stories. That was in October 12th at the Nehru Science Center. I had all my Mumbai Storyteller Society performing there. I'm a very inclusive person, Hrishi. So the science storytelling was my dream for years, and our festival today, MIST, is also very inclusive. We have stories from all over the world. We have storytellers coming from different nooks and corners. One is coming from Toronto, Rubina Sinha, and Sheila V and Stella Kasimati have already arrived. They were to be part of the interview, but they are resting as they are jet lagged. And here we are. I mean, they've given us a chance.
Okay. Basics, venues, and where tickets are available, please.
Shall I?
Yeah.
All right. So we start with a panel discussion this evening, which is at Tidal Waves Bandra, 6 p.m. Tomorrow is a family story time. So children, parents, grandparents, everyone are welcome at the Sophia Baba Auditorium at Warden Road, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Tickets are an insider. And we're almost almost full there, so please do come in. And after that, we are at JBCN School
On 15th.
On 15th. But
JBCN has many branches. Which one
this is the Borivali branch.
The Borivali branch.
And you can contact the school directly or come on the spot and pay on the spot for that, which is again at 6 to 8 p.m. Same storytellers. So we will be having from MSS, we'll have Usha Venkatraman, we will have Rajshri Tope, Rubina Sinha, Stella Kasimati, Sheila V, and Seema Vahi Mukherjee.
I need to make a special mention about Rajshri Tope. She'll be doing it beautifully in the Kirtankar style,
yes.
and she's telling the legend of Tanhaji in typical 9-yard sari, and then rendering and performing her story.
Also
it's a
with
treat
music.
to watch.
in the most unfilmy manner possible, considering it's still
Yes,
music.
absolutely, bang on.
Okay, great. We're going to come back right after the song. Just give us a couple of minutes. This is really fascinating. Some storytellers in studio. Britney Spears, Crazy.
I'm so into you. You got that something. What can I do? Baby, you spin me around. The earth is moving, but I can't feel the ground. Every time you look at me, my heart is jumping. It's easy to see. You drive me crazy. I just can't sleep. I'm so excited. I'm in too deep. Oh, crazy, but it feels alright. Baby, thinking of you keeps me up all night. Tell me you're so into me that I'm the only one you will see. Tell me I'm not in the blue, that I'm not wasting my feelings on you. Every time I look at you, my heart is jumping. What can I do? You drive me crazy. I just can't sleep. I'm so excited. I'm in too deep. Oh, crazy, but it feels alright. Baby, thinking of you keeps me up all night. You drive me crazy. Sing it. Stop.
It's Britney Spears and Crazy. I have in studio the Mumbai Storytellers Society, the MSS. More conversation.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
And Hema Subramaniam joins us. Hi Hema, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning, Hrishi. How are you?
Excellent. Now we'll be just chatting with what you bring to the table, or what each one brings to the table as far as storytelling is concerned. I believe you play the sitar, and you're very, very keen on curating educational programs.
Yep.
Does that find a place in your storytelling?
Yes, it does, because I've been an educator for quite some time, and I've had a syllabus created for creative writing where we build up stories and teach people how to write stories. And so stories have been my passion for quite some time. And recently I've got into performance storytelling, and I've really developed, and joining MSS has been a boon for me, and I've learned a lot to how to deliver stories, and that's what has been my take away from MSS, and that's what I give to MSS.
Lovely. So, just so that we get a perspective, these are all people from various walks of life who are bound together by storytelling, and that must make it very exciting for you, because it's not one monotone. It's not just about, I'm going to tell stories and I'm going to tell it in a particular way.
That's exactly right, Hrishi. I've been telling stories for the last 24 years. So I could say I'm the grandmother in the storytelling group. And the idea to form Mumbai Storytellers Society was to bring in variety. I knew Shreedevi since 2011, and I knew she was a good storyteller, so she was a natural to include. I didn't know the others. Lopamudra I knew a little later. Sherin Matthews I knew was a storyteller, and Hema was complete, she was picked up because she was into storytelling. I knew her. And Devki Bhujang Gazre, who's not here, and she runs Little Reader's Nook, was definitely a shot in the dark, but which has proved to be very profitable because she's the youngest and she is, quick, and she's the secretary of Mumbai Storytellers Society. So she delivers the work immediately.
So I think also, if I might add, it's 6 different heads coming together with completely different outlooks on storytelling, different ways of using stories, but it's amalgamated very beautifully for us.
Yes, I couldn't function without the 5 co-founders, and my husband is the 6th one. He is the most sane, he's the most pragmatic, and he's the accountant who keeps us in check.
And this is so true for people who curate, let's say, annual festivals, as it were. The challenge for somebody like an Anupama Chopra is to have Mami kept alive through the year. The challenge for Mr. Mahindra when he does the Mahindra Blues Festival is to keep it alive through the year. And that must be your big challenge. I mean, Mist is happening for the first time, that's great. But the fact that you've got to keep this tradition, oral or otherwise, alive through the year. What is your itinerary? I mean, in terms of the Storytelling Society, how often do you guys meet? Where can people find out more about you?
We have a Facebook page, which Shreedevi will tell you more. We meet once a month. The idea is to spread the oral tradition in the community. That's our mission and intent. So with that in mind, we have a storytelling program, Meetup, once a month at different venues across Mumbai, where we invite the general public to come and tell stories. We may have a curated theme, but we're going to change that in the coming year. So we keep it alive with monthly meetups. Shri, you want to pitch in?
So normally our monthly meetups are in the last weekend of the month, and the tickets are about 250 per head, very reasonable. And Usha mentioned about we changing themes. What that also does is ensures that we research more on folk tales, and our own repertoire has increased because of that. And we also invite the general public to tell. So these monthly events are not just us performing. We have maybe 2 of us there, but we have the general public performing.
Yeah, if I can intervene, we only tell traditional stories. Yes. That's why Shri always talks about folk tales. We are not into personal storytelling. We only tell traditional stories.
Which is myths, mythology, legends, folk tales.
Yeah, that's a very, very important fact that you've brought to the fore, because I find that most storytelling festivals now are about, personal or cathartic experiences.
Yes.
It's important for you to make that clear. We're going to do some messages. When we come back, more conversation with the Mumbai Storytelling Society. What's the Facebook page where people can find out more about the society?
It's Mumbai Storytellers Society, mumbai.storytellers.society. We're there on Instagram as well as Facebook. If you're looking at the
very slow.
Oh, sorry. mumbai.storytellers.society. Yeah. It's the same handle on Facebook and on Instagram. For the festival, please look up the MIST, M-I-S-T Festival.
Okay, see you in a bit. we're having a weather like English weather, so the music is English. David Gray, the Englishman with Babylon. The Mumbai Storytelling Society is here in studio, and we're having a bit of a bash on the kind of stories and what they do.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
So Sherin Matthew joins us. Hi Sherin, what's up? How are you?
Hi Rishi, super excited to be here.
Now, we were just to fill you in, we were talking about what each storyteller brings to the table, and I believe you're a psychologist.
I am, yes.
Does that make it easier for you to gauge audience perception and what kind of an audience you're going to be speaking to or telling stories to?
It does. But then I think it's not being a psychologist, it's being a storyteller. I think every storyteller is able to gauge what the audience is. And we react and we tell stories according to the energy that we get from the audience. But being a psychologist, I'm able to, I think, bring about my story in a way that has a more emotional connect with the audience, you know.
Yeah, that's very well put. Okay, listen, what I want to do is actually go in the itinerary, go event by event, what's happening at the festival. Yeah. So this evening is a panel discussion, right?
Yes.
So you want to take me through that, please?
Yes. Today evening we have a panel discussion at the Tidal Waves bookshop, and the topic for the discussion is relevance of myth today. So we have...
Is it free entry? Anybody can just walk in?
Free entry for everyone.
What time
Please
is
do
it?
come 6 to 7:30 in the evening. Please do come in large numbers. We have eminent panelists like Dr. Radhakrishnan Pillai.
He's the
who's-
Chanakya man.
Yes, the Chanakya Niti Shastra. And we have Utkarsh Patel from Mumbai University from the Department of Comparative Mythology. I was a long time ago a student of comparative mythology. And we have Stella Kasimati, who is an expert on Greek myths. And we have Sheila V., the president of Asian Storytellers, you know, the Federation of Asian Storytellers from Singapore.
What would be your brief to them, let's say 5 minutes before they climb onto stage?
Oh, I'm just going to talk about the relevance of myth today, why it is relevant, and introduce them briefly. And they have exactly 2 minutes to talk about on the subject. And then we throw the floor open to the audience because we want a lot of audience interaction.
That's nice. Okay. And
I just have to add, I have Gitanjali Chandrasekharan, the editor of Sunday Midday, co-moderating with me. And she's made it so easy for me with the questions to ask. So she's a blessing in disguise. Gita, thank you.
Lovely. Okay. And tomorrow you move to the Sophia, 6 to 8 in the evening, and you've got a fabulous lineup of performers. This is called the Family Storytelling Showcase. You want to talk about that, Shreedevi?
That's right. So we have Stella Kasimati, we have Sheila V, Rajshri Tope, Seema Vahi Mukherjee, Usha Venkatraman, and Rubina Sinha performing. So all of them will be sharing mythology. Usha will be sharing a wonderful story with music. We've gotten a little glimpse of it and we enjoyed ourselves thoroughly. We also saw Rajshri in action. So it's something that I welcome all children and parents to come for. And one of the reasons we picked relevance of myths today, because as young parents, I think this is an insight that we all should dwell in. We don't read too much mythology to our children. So,
if I may add, it's the duty of the present storytellers like the Mumbai Storytellers Society to convey the voices of the past to the ears of the future. And what better way other than mist?
absolutely.
Okay. I want Sherin to be a part of this, which is why I'm going to actually jump a day. The 17th is Tapestry Tales by the members of the MSS, the Mumbai Storytellers Society. So what can we expect in Tapestry Tales, Sherin?
So tapestry is actually a beautiful quilt that we have got for us, which has different patches, and all the patches have stories from different parts of the world, different parts of India. So each of our storytellers who will be doing the tapestry story has taken a patch and formed a story based on that. So we have a story from Bihar, we have a story on Jagannath, we have a story, a Gond story, a tribal Gond story. So Shreedevi, Lopa, me, we are doing the tapestry story. And so we'll be showing the quilt, we'll be explaining the picture over it, the art. For example, I'm doing the Madhubani story, which comes from Mithila, Bihar, and I'll be telling a Bihari folktale.
Nice. We're going to do some messages, and when we come back, actually, let me just slip in some Luke Bryan. Post that, some messages. When we come back, more about Mist and the Mumbai Storytellers Society. Don't go anywhere. We're at 9:43. 9:43. My name is Hrishikesh.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishikesh.
Welcome back. Some wonderful messages greeting these fine ladies. This is, of course, the Mumbai Storytellers Society, and they're doing something known as MIST, the Mumbai National Storytelling Festival. Sujit Patil says, wow, storytellers, so much required to keep so many things alive. Interesting conversations, stories, and writing and reading needs resurrection. So cool. My regards to these rock stars. Priya Lobo, how can I meet these women or be part of this society? Well, they have a Facebook page. They have an Insta handle. You want to just quickly give that out again, Shreedevi?
Mumbai.storytellers.society on Facebook and Insta.
Okay, now the festival moves to the tranquil hills of Panchgani. You want to talk me through that, Usha?
Yes, we are in Panchgani on the 17th and the 18th. I want to talk about my venue partners. Devrai Art Village is a beautiful little village on the hillside of Panchgani. Mandakini Mathur and Atul are our host. They have kindly, graciously given us their property. We have story trails there, open mic, which my colleagues will talk about. And we also have workshops from Sheila V on the art and craft of storytelling, as well as the relevance of myth today by Stella Kasimati. And we have an evening performance at the beautiful amphitheatre which overlooks the valley in Sanjeevan Vidyalaya in the evenings. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be truly
I think if you're not
misty.
driving right now, you should just close your eyes. Picture yourself sitting in the misty hills of Panchgani
Under
in
the
an
stars.
amphitheatre under the stars with a bonfire,
Yeah.
listening to our wonderful tellers.
Beautiful.
Huddle the
Okay, so
blankets.
there is a professional covered storyteller who's performing Maya. I want to know a little more of that, which is Akshay Gandhi on the inaugural showcase.
Yeah, covered storytelling, which we would be doing, and it's with basically it's with three-dimensional boxes which he has, and when they open it, so each panel talks about part of the story. So that's how the story goes ahead. So it's basically in Rajasthan when they have covered storytelling. That is what he has adapted for his storytelling, which would be
So,
doing it in Panchgani.
Just a little
for
bit
us.
there. When we met Akshay for the first time and he talked to us about covered, we wanted traditional Indian storytellers, storytellers who tell it the traditional Indian style, to be on board with us. So he actually is a theatre artist who went to Rajasthan and has, since 3 years, he's been researching this form of storytelling with covered. And whatever we've seen of him, and if you go to our Facebook or Instagram page, you'll get a glimpse of it, is beautiful. He will be telling in Hindi.
Yes, it is on the lines of Katha Kalakshepam. You sit there, you narrate your story, you also sing, you have musicians, and he uses covered, which is another medium to convey his story.
And you're no stranger to using props. I mean, you're a firm believer that puppetry aids in the storytelling.
Yes, I have been by default a puppeteer. No formal training, though I did visit a few Swedish and in Delhi, the great Dadi Padamji, Anurupa Roy, Ranjana Pandey. I did do a little bit of 2-3 days workshop with Ranjana. Puppetry calls for a willing suspension of disbelief. And stories as well call for the same, especially mythology. So puppetry gives you an enduring image. It's an image. And then visually it enhances when you tell the story. The puppet may talk. Sometimes the puppet may say a word, like I'm telling the story of Bhasmasur. So he could say, Shiva, I want to be immortal. And Shiva could be the other puppet and he could just voice this, no, not possible. That goes against the laws of nature. See, when you use a puppet, Hrishi, the puppet doesn't talk. It moves a lot. But I'm a storyteller and I talk incessantly. So
It's giving voice. You give
puppet.
voice to an image, and that
Yes.
image comes alive because of your voice.
Yes.
Correct.
And
Lovely.
Shri also uses puppets,
Yeah,
if
she
I'm
does.
not mistaken.
Yeah. You want to talk about what you call them?
My puppets? All right. So, as in, do you want me to talk about the shows that I do, or
No. Just
talking turtle?
Yeah, the turtle.
The turtle, the talking turtle. Yeah, that's how I came up with the name, was because one of the stories is the talkative turtle. So we did a twist on that. We said, why do we have to call him in negative light a talkative turtle? Instead, he can share stories because he likes to talk. Hence, talking turtle.
Nice.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's Niles Barkley, crazy. A last leg of conversation with these ladies. We're talking storytelling and Mist. 9:54 live. I'm Hrishikesh.
94.3
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Radio 1.
Welcome back. Some wonderful messages greeting these fine ladies. This is, of course, the Mumbai Storytellers Society, and they're doing something known as MIST, the Mumbai National Storytelling Festival. Sujit Patil says, wow, storytellers, so much required to keep so many things alive. Interesting conversations, stories, and writing and reading needs resurrection. So cool. My regards to these rock stars. Priya Lobo, how can I meet these women or be part of this society? But they have a Facebook page, they have an Insta handle. You want to just quickly give that out again, Shreedevi?
Mumbai.storytellers.society on Facebook and Insta.
Okay, now the festival moves to the tranquil hills of Panchgani. You want to talk me through that, Usha?
Yes, we are in Panchgani on the 17th and the 18th. I want to talk about my venue partners. Devrai Art Village is a beautiful little village on the hillside of Panchgani. Mandakini Mathur and Atul are our host. They have kindly, graciously given us their property. We have story trails there, open mic, which my colleagues will talk about. And we also have workshops from Sheila V on the art and craft of storytelling, as well as the relevance of myth today by Stella Kasimati. And we have an evening performance at the beautiful amphitheatre which overlooks the valley in Sanjeevan Vidyalaya in the evenings. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be truly
I think if you're not
misty.
driving right now, you should just close your eyes. Picture yourself sitting in the misty hills of Panchgani
Under
in
the
an
stars.
amphitheatre under the stars with a bonfire,
Yeah.
listening to our wonderful tellers.
Beautiful.
Huddle the
Okay,
blankets.
so there is a professional carved storyteller who's performing Maya. I want to know a little more of that, which is Akshay Gandhi on the inaugural showcase.
Yeah, covered storytelling, which we would be doing, and it's with basically it's with three-dimensional boxes which he has, and when they open it, so each panel talks about part of the story. So that's how the story goes ahead. So it's basically in Rajasthan when they have covered storytelling. That is what he has adapted for his storytelling, which would be
So,
doing it in Panchgani.
Just a little
for
bit
us.
there. When we met Akshay for the first time and he talked to us about Kavod, we wanted traditional Indian storytellers, storytellers who tell it
Yeah.
the traditional Indian style, to be on board with us. So he actually is a theatre artist who went to Rajasthan and has, since 3 years, he's been researching this form of storytelling with Kavod. And whatever we've seen of him, and if you go to our Facebook or Instagram page, you'll get a glimpse of it, is beautiful. He will be telling in Hindi.
Yes, it is on the lines of Katha Kalakshepam. You sit there, you narrate your story, you also sing, you have musicians, and he uses Kavod, which is another medium to convey his story.
And you're no stranger to using props. I mean, you're a firm believer that puppetry aids in the storytelling.
Yes, I have been by default a puppeteer. No formal training, though I did visit a few Swedish and in Delhi, the great Dadi Padamji, Anurupa Roy, Ranjana Pandey. I did do a little bit of 2-3 days workshop with Ranjana. Puppetry calls for a willing suspension of disbelief. And stories as well call for the same, especially mythology. So puppetry gives you an enduring image. It's an image, and then visually it enhances when you tell the story. The puppet may talk. Sometimes the puppet may say a word, like I'm telling the story of Bhasmasur. So he could say, Shiva, I want to be immortal. And Shiva could be the other puppet and he could just voice this, no, 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 not possible. That goes against the laws of nature. See, when you use a puppet, Hrishi, the puppet doesn't talk. It moves a lot. But I'm a storyteller and I talk incessantly. So
It's giving voice. You give
puppet.
voice to an image, and that
Yes.
image comes alive because of your voice.
Yes.
Correct.
And
Lovely.
Shri also uses puppets,
Yeah,
if
she
I'm
does.
not mistaken.
Yeah. You wanna talk about what you call them?
My puppets? All right. So, as in, do you want me to talk about the shows that I do, or
No. Just
talking turtle?
Yeah, the turtle.
The turtle, the talking turtle. Yeah, that's how I came up with the name, was because one of the stories is the talkative turtle. So we did a twist on that. We said, why do we have to call him in negative light a talkative turtle? Instead, he can share stories because he likes to talk. Hence, talking turtle.
Nice.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's Niles Barkley Crazy, a last leg of conversation with these ladies. We're talking storytelling and Mist. 9:54 live. I'm Hrishikesh.
94.3
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Rishi K.
Radio 1.
Back for a last leg of conversation with the MSS, the Mumbai Storytellers Society, and their Mist, which is the Mumbai National Storytelling Festival, comes to Mumbai as well as Panchgani. I'm in conversation with Usha Venkatraman, Shreedevi Sunil, and Hema Subramaniam. Hema, on the 18th is something really, really exciting, which is the Story Trail. You want to lead us through that, please?
Yeah. On the 18th, the whole program starts with the Story Trail, and this is on the hillside of Devrai Art Village. So, as the name suggests, it's an art village where they create a lot of metal sculptures with stone, and there are a lot of installations on the hillside of Devrai Art Village, and we have seen those installations, and 4 storytellers are going to be standing in vantage points and talking about the installations, the stories they have found out through mythology, and mythological stories which will relate to the installations, and those are the stories that they're going to talk about. There's, like, for example, there's a peacock and then there's an umber tree, so there are going to be stories about that, and a dancing Nandi. So there are going to be stories, so I think you should just come over there and listen to these stories next to the installations, and it's going to be a trail that you're going to walk down and really experience the hillside, the mist, the cold weather in Panchgani, and stories to add on to that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the trail is actually a trail.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is actually a trail.
Absolutely.
And
It's actually
please
a
be
trail.
prepared for some forest spirits to walk along with you. That's the idea. Leprechaun.
We're not
Quite
going to
spooky.
reveal who those forests
Yes.
are.
Positive spirits.
But
I
here's
guess.
the thing, when we walked down Devrai Art Village, for Hema and Usha had gone and seen it before us. And the rest of us were really excited when we reached there, because I'm not very strong with mythology. But because of Story Trail, I realized there's a story for every single thing. All you need to do is dig deep and research.
Yes.
Excellent. I'm very excited that anybody who walks in there can actually get an opportunity to walk on the stage and tell their story. There's an open mic. Yeah.
There's an open mic. It is at 3 o'clock in the
4.
afternoon, 3 to 4. So any participant who's got the festival pass, they're available on Insider, can walk in and tell a story. We'll give them a certain time limit.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Because we want as many participants to come and share stories.
So if you're going to Panchgani, then make sure you have your ticket with you. It's at Insider.
Yes.
Go get it there. And of course, at all the other ones that are ticketed performances, they will be at the venue. There are a couple of workshops where people can get into here, which are not closed door, right? Yeah.
No, Hrishi. The workshops are only for schools because we have school outreach in Mumbai.
In Panchgani, I mean.
In Panchgani, we have 2 workshops on 18th morning, which is Sheila V leads the one on storytelling. That's from 10:30 to 12:30. We are taking a maximum of 40 participants, and already we've been deluged with school teachers signing up for the workshop. And then Stella Kasimati has a workshop post that, which is from 12:45 to 2:45, which is about the relevance of myth. It's going to be an experiential workshop. So we have takers for that. The general Janta from Panchgani are super excited, who have been really our patrons, I could say. Because storytelling is one such thing that needs an art medium, that needs patrons.
So these workshops are not available on Insider, right?
They are available. You can book
But
for
if
the
you
workshops.
need more information, you can write to us on Mumbai Storytellers Society at gmail.com. That's MUMBAI STORY TELLERS SOCIETY Society at gmail.com.
I see Shreedevi is getting the hang of radio now. Thank you, Lopa. Thank you, Sherin. Thank you, Usha, Hema, and Shreedevi.
Thank you
and
very
all the best for everything that
Thank
you do.
you. Thank you, Hrishi. Come and enter the world of magic and miracles and mysteries through mist. Thank you.
So,
Thank you so much.
it's 50 Cent in the club.